Where are you? The wall you're against makes you look a little bit like you've just committed a crime.
So I'm in one of them modern apartments where all of the walls are white and there's not much decoration, and sometimes I feel like I'm in a psychiatric hospital, but it's perfect for Zoom calls.
I'm going to be honest with you, as someone who has sporadically been in psychiatric hospitals, they're not as nice as where it appears that you are.
No, I was going to say I've heard they're not pleasant places. It's just the white first thing that popped into my head.
They always have. I mean, not that I've got a season ticket or anything, but they always have like really sort of strange murals. Like, yeah, there was one over Easter that I ended up having a little visit to, and this has started very heavy, isn't it? And there was like a sort of like a photograph of a Scrabble board on the wall, and I remember sitting there being like, "Just make me better, just make me better." But just thinking about like traumatic games of Scrabble I'd had with my dad when I was younger. He was very into Scrabble.
To be fair, I feel like everyone goes through a Scrabble phase when they're younger. For my family, it was Scrabble and Monopoly.
Yeah, no, let's not even let's not even talk about the Monopoly games. Are are you from York?
I am. I'm originally from York. Yeah, I moved down a few years ago.
So I'm from Doncaster. So
Oh, my
you're
family's originally from Thorne, which is like just outside Doncaster. No way.
are they really? Uh,
Yeah.
Whenever I sort of made most of my career as a music journalist, and I always talk about Thorn as being where I saw my first gig.
No way.
Yeah, it doesn't really count, I guess. It was like a friend's band that no one other than about
It
seven.
counts. If they're performing,
Well,
it counts.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes there's been times in my career where people have said, "Oh, what's the first gig you went to?" And I normally swerve this one, but it was at this youth club in Thorn, and it was like a sort of like an all night disco,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, I just remember like walking around Thorn in the early hours with my mates. So right, so we've done Thorn, we've done psychiatric hospitals.
Yes.
How did you get into acting?
So it's something that I've loved since I was a child. When I was at school, I did like plays and musicals and pantomimes. I just wanted to be performing whenever I could. But at school, like screen acting wasn't really an option. It was more just stage or nothing.
Right.
And then as I got older, I started to do like a little bit of acting on screen here or there, and I realized that my passion lies with screen acting. And I just knew that was what I wanted to do with my life. So I thought it'd be a good idea to have a backup plan. So very random, but I went to university and studied theoretical physics, as you do, graduated, and then just kind of went full speed ahead with the acting, and now we're here.
See, the problem with this is I don't want to talk about the movie anymore. I want to talk about theoretical physics.
This is fine with me. I can talk about science all day.
So yeah, well, yeah. Explain what the essence of theoretical physics is.
So I think most people, when they think of theoretical physics, they'll think of Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory. And basically, there was one big difference when we were at university. You either do practical physics or theoretical. And practical, there was a lot of lab work, a lot of working with what you can actually tangibly see and touch and feel. And with theoretical, it's more the theory of what if. So things haven't quite yet been discovered, haven't quite yet been explained. So in my last year, I specialized in like general relativity and cosmology. And I was like looking a lot into like black holes and kind of nearby galaxies and supernova and all of these things which can't be perfectly explained because we've either not visited there or there's just no physical evidence yet. So it's all theoretical, but I think that's why I liked it, because I love being in the creative industry because it's all kind of make believe in a way. And for some reason, I felt like theoretical physics was kind of like that. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, there was a moment when you were just talking there where I just went. I was like, I don't understand any of this, but I sort of
Sorry.
I need to do this. But okay, so here's what I want to know: is there a god, and do aliens exist?
So I think yes and yes. I think
So do I.
I'm a confusing scientist because a lot of scientists think they can't believe in God for some reason, which
Yeah.
I think there's multiple gods. I believe in a higher power. I believe in fate. I believe in all sorts. But I definitely believe there is a God of some sort or a higher power of some sort. And I'm convinced that aliens exist. If you think we are one planet in a galaxy of however many planets, in a universe of however many galaxies, obviously there's going to be other planets with like living forms like humans, whether they look like they do in Alien versus Predator or who knows what they look like. But I am sure there are some out there.
Yeah, I think Aliens is a bit of a no-brainer, isn't it? Really.
Probably just a little bit. Maybe it's like halfway between aliens and humans, and it's just like a merge of the two.
Yeah, I definitely think there's life in the universe other than ourselves. The
Mhm.
God one's interesting though because I guess that I've got friends who are really into science. I've got an ex-girlfriend who actually worked for Richard Dawkins, and I
Oh, no
remember,
way.
I remember she often would kind of, I don't know, I sort of I couldn't really engage because it just wound me up because I really hate I don't know, even if you kind of don't believe, I really like the romance of religion. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, there's a lot of horrible things about religion as well, but I really love like the idea of like believing in. I don't know. I just think it's awful just to sort of go in like. I hope she's not listening to this. I hope Richard Dawkins didn't listen to this. I really like. I don't know. I just don't think it's. I just don't think it's a great thing to be saying to people, "No, you're stupid for believing in this." But what a lot of
Yeah.
like science friends who are into science would say to me is, whenever I go, you know, uh, whenever I say something like, I've spent plenty of 2 a.m.s sat up, just like looking up into space and thinking,
Haven't we all?
there's no way. There's no like. I'm not saying for a second that like God particularly cares.
Hmm.
I'm quite into the idea that like we are completely below its pay grade,
Mm.
but there's just no way. There's just no way. There's not a God. No
I
way.
just think everything's like lined up too perfectly. Like my argument is, if the Earth was like, I don't know, maybe 100 meters to the left or like a kilometer to the right, then it wouldn't be the right temperature for us to survive as humans. If it was like maybe 5 degrees tilted off the axis, again, humans couldn't survive. So I'm like, the fact that all of these conditions had to be perfect for us to exist. Like I said, okay, I'm a scientist, and most scientists, I think this is why people who do theoretical physics, I have found, also believe in God, because it's the theory, it's the wonder that I don't need tangible proof of something or physical evidence to be able to believe in something. To me, it just makes common sense. I'm like, well, everything's lined up too perfectly. I don't believe things like that happen by accident, so someone must have been responsible. Who knows?
Yeah, well, we solved that one. No, no, it's a wild one though. I mean, I find that I definitely felt quite because because I believe in the idea of God, but I don't really attribute much in the way of what we would know as theology to it. But it's just a general, like I'm not really, I'm not really one of those people who says, "Oh, I believe in something," because I just think that's like a bit of a cop out as well. Like I genuinely think I have an idea of what it is, but actually just being like, "Well, there's a God, but I don't think you're supposed to worship it." I just think that. Uh, I just think there's too much weird shit. There's too much weird. There's too much weird shit. What do your fellow scientists think about the fact that you have this side hustle as an actor and that your IMDb profile thus far involves you screaming quite a lot?
Yeah, so I have been called a screen queen quite a lot recently. That's becoming a thing now.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
definitely, yeah.
it's kind of funny actually, because I've realized over the last few years it's actually insane the amount of people who've gone from a STEM subject, so science, technology, engineering, maths, into the filmmaking industry. Like, it blew my mind. And I was working with this director on quite a few different short films, and then one day I can't remember how, I think I was like reading a news article on my phone, and it was something to do with like nuclear fusion, and he was interested, and I was like, "Oh, you like science?" And he was like, "Yeah, I graduated in physics." And I was like, "Wait, hold on." And then another actor came up, and he was like, "Oh, I can't remember what it was. I think it was engineering or something." And I was like, "Interesting." And now I kind of make it a point whenever I'm on set to be like, "Are there any scientists here?" And you'd be quite surprised. So I thought people in the science world would think it's quite strange, but it's actually surprisingly common to
Wow.
go from the science into the creative industries, which I was very pleasantly surprised by. And I think that's quite nice.
Yeah, no, totally. But that is really surprising to me, though. I wonder why that is.
I don't know. Like I said, with the theoretical physics, it makes sense to me because it's like make believe theory and imagining stuff. So to me, that makes complete sense. But like biomedical sciences or engineering, I'm like, that's all tangible, practical stuff. So I don't know. Maybe scientists just need an escape.
Yeah, maybe. But
Too many
but
numbers.
there was a few more. There was a few more words there that I slightly zoned out on. Actually, I'm sorry about that.
It's all good.
I feel like I need to. I feel like I need to be googling some of these words.
Sorry, I will stop with the science lingo.
No, 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 no. It's every day's a school day and all that. What? So let's talk a bit about the movie. Obviously, I've read today that it appears that you've upset the entirety of China.
I did read that.
It's pretty wild, isn't it?
I never thought that I would offend an entire country. I don't really know what to say. My parents sent it to me, and I was just like, I'm sorry, China? I don't really know what else to say in this situation, but it's very, very strange.
Yeah, I mean, without being sort of like too heavy, because sometimes it's that thing when you talk about a movie and you talk with like, the talent, that'll be you,
Yeah.
and you sort of talk of like what impact the movies had on the world or how people have talked about it, and I sometimes think it's a bit unfair, really, because you guys go and someone says action and then you play a part. It's
We didn't
like
do our job. Yep.
the wider machinations are sort of a bit like above your pay grade, but I guess it's like I don't think you've upset the whole of China. I think you've just upset like the big bad, and that sounds
Yeah, I
awfully.
think it's one specific person who got a bit upset, and now there's ramifications throughout the country because of it.
Yeah, yeah, no, pretty. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
It is wild. When I saw that at first, I thought, oh, fake news. And then I was like, wait, I know we're in March. Is it April Fool's Day? Checked my calendar, not April Fool's Day. And I was like, well, this is new. Never thought I'd be able to say I'd offended China.
Yeah, this might be too. I'm just gonna. You're sort of early 20s, right?
Yeah, like middle 20s.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you'll be too young for this, but there used to be a band called the Long Pigs, an indie band called the Long Pigs, and they had to change their name to the LPs when they played in. I believe it was Indonesia, and it was something to do with like the pig being like a sacred animal in that culture.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and I know a couple of people from that band, and I talked to them about it, and they were like, when we formed this band in a rehearsal room in Sheffield, we really did not think that we would be upsetting the religious leaders of Indonesia. It's funny how this stuff works out.
It's crazy. Things you never expect happening.
Um, so I don't know how to say this. I'm going to sort of try and preface it with a bit of throat clearing, which is apt given the cold that I have. I think that the people I'm talking about really, they don't seem like they would be much fun at parties. But I've read some horrible reviews today.
Mhm.
I guess I've got a follow up to that. Like, I'm on
Yeah.
your side, Amber. I'm on your side. Like, I think the film is an awful lot of fun.
Yeah.
But what does it feel like when you've invested so much effort into something, literally having honey poured in your eyes, and then you read such pious po-face reviews?
So I would like to say that in one of the scenes, the honey did go in my eye, and it really did burn. So that was a tough one.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm one of those weird people where reviews genuinely don't bother me. Like whether it's, and I'm not just saying that, I'll explain why, but like positive or negative, at the end of the day, if it's negative, I'm like, okay, great, that's constructive criticism. It's something that I can learn from, which will help me improve. Like, thank you for the advice. I think that the film is subjective, and I don't think there's ever been a film that hasn't received negative criticism. For example, personally, I normally like films that critics don't like. And the films that I hate, critics really love. And it's always really strange. And I just think everyone has a different opinion, and it's fine. With this film, I think the problem is that it was kind of pitched as a serious film. So people, especially in America, because in England, I think in the UK, I think we're very blessed with a lot of independent cinema chains and a lot of independent films being shown on a cinema screen. So people are used to seeing a lower budget, independent film that's not coming from one of these big Hollywood studios. So in England, I found that the reviews are a lot more fairer because people had realistic expectations, and they knew that they were getting not a parody, but a film that is kind of taking the mickey out of itself.
Yeah.
Whereas what I found in America is people were going to the cinema expecting like Avatar or Titanic. And I'm like, we had a budget of £20,000. They probably spend that on food in a week on Avatar,
Yeah.
And because there's not many like low budget films in American cinema, I think it was quite a shock to everyone. Because from what I remember in recent years, anyway, I don't think there has been a cinematic release for such a low budget film. So to be honest, in America, I was kind of expecting those reviews because I thought, well, people are going to have very, very high expectations. as you would have for, say, a Warner Brothers or a Sony production, not something that we filmed 8 days in like a forest down south.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was going to say, I've spoken to a lot of people, and the general consensus, which I would agree, at the end of the day, yes, there are some fall points in the film. I think the plot could be a bit stronger. I think there could be more character development. That's just my opinion as an actor. But I found that a lot of people agree with that in the review. And I think it's healthy to have that opinion, you know, have your likes, have your dislikes. But at the end of the day, I've seen the film 5 times now in a month, which is a lot. But I enjoy the film. Like, is it categorically an amazing film? Perhaps not, but it's fun and it's entertaining. And I think as long as you don't take it too seriously and you know what to expect when you go in, you're going to have a good time. Like, every time I've seen it, I've been like laughing away with the audience and like whooping and cheering and loving it.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally a scene, you know, spoilers for anyone else that's seen the movie. There's literally a scene where Christopher Robin gets whipped with eel's tail. You know, like, I never, you know, I'm a big fan of horror, whether it's like big budget or whether it's, you know, made for 50p. I think that, I think the genre excels in both directions, but the moment I heard the premise, I was like, oh, I've got an idea what this is going to be about, and as long as it's not boring, you know, for 90 minutes, that's all I need this movie to be. And I think that you and the other girls are like, you play your parts brilliantly. You know, you do what is required, and I also just think that like the masks do a lot of work. I think that there are some moments that are genuinely funny, and also I just think even from a directorial point of view, there's some really nice cinematography that must have been a challenge doing it on the budget that you had. I just read that Guardian review, and it's it sort of almost makes the point that, you know, like A.A. Milne, who, you know, wrote the original books, like that the film doesn't make more of the fact that he experienced all this trauma in the First World War, and I'm like, dude, you have really missed the point of what this movie's about. Do you know what I mean? This is like.
Exactly, that's what the Christopher Robin film was about, but Blood and Honey is definitely not about that.
Do you know, it's just, I mean, it's almost like in that great tradition of exploitation cinema in a way, you know. It's like, let's just, I don't know, it's just a stupid, I mean this is the best possible
No, but it is it's like some silly fun idea that someone's just thought, you know what, this character's gone into the IP, what hasn't been done before, let's make a horror film. And it is a silly fun film, but that's what it's supposed to be. And like I said, I love it. I'll probably watch it for a 6th time this weekend.
Are you watching this, you know, surely you're not watching this like in your free time, you're doing this at screenings and stuff?
Yeah, so it was the world premiere in Mexico, European premiere in Amsterdam, UK premiere in Glasgow, and then I went to 2 screenings in London just to do like a quick intro to the film, have a chat, like answer some questions afterwards. But I thought I might as well stay for the film because I like watching it and like assessing my acting in different bits and bobs and think, what can I improve on? What should I do differently? And every time I watch it, I notice new things. So it's still, I feel like watching it is kind of like a learning process in a weird way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. What's it like watching the movie you're in with other people? I say this because a couple of years ago I went to a screening of the second like rebooted Godzilla movie, and Millie Bobby Brown did a little hello, you know, I'm in this movie before the movie played, and then she went to sit down in the audience, and during the moments in that movie where it clunks, people were laughing. And I remember thinking, you're a really big Hollywood star, and this must feel quite awkward.
I think the thing is, like, before both times that I saw the film in London when I did an introduction, one of the last things that I said, I spoke a bit about how it was low budget and, you know, how we need to kind of push like independent filmmaking and hopefully this will pave the way for more low budget films to be in the cinema, blah, blah, blah. But the last thing that I said, look, please keep your expectations realistic. This is a low budget film. There are going to be moments where you want to laugh, and that is fine because I will be laughing with you. You're meant to laugh at this film. It's okay. And people were like cracking up, and I was like, no, I'm being serious. You'll know what I mean. Like, there's moments where you're going to be like, who wrote this script? Like, what is that? Like, it's meant to be funny. And honestly, I was probably laughing louder than anyone else in the cinema. Like, every time I've watched it, people are staring at me because I'm just laughing away in the background because I just think the whole thing is hilarious.
Yeah. No, I think... Because I really like the fact that during the course of our conversation, and we've agreed on God, aliens, what the backdrop of your video is, and just what a fun experience this movie is.
Mhm.
What have you? I mean, don't tell me anything you can't tell me. But it's your face has been all over the place with the promotion of this movie. Do you have a diary with other projects in?
Yeah, of course I do. So I've got about
All right, Amber.
honestly, maybe
There's no,
I'm just
there's,
excited.
there's no need to be so smug.
I will try and tone down the smugness. I'm just excited when an actor gets to work. You don't understand it. It's like seeing a pig fly.
Well, that's why I
Celebrate
couched
it.
that's why I couched it like that. You know, I've spoken to enough actors to know that it's always a hustle, and
Yeah.
I didn't want to be like, oh, you must have loads of things planned if you didn't.
Well, to be fair, it's all stuff that I had planned before Blood and Honey came out. A lot of similarly like this one, like low budget independent films. A lot of like previous collaborators that I've worked with before. But yeah, there's a few in particular that I'm really excited about. There's one which we filmed it a couple of months ago, and it's going to do the festival circuit soon. In case you can't tell, I'm a huge fan of horror. Like it's my favorite genre to watch. It's my favorite genre to act in. And I did a short film called The Little Ones, which is about this woman. She's recently lost her fiance. He was hiking and fell off a cliff, as happens. And there's an electrical storm, and she's watching this video that her fiance sent her just before he died. And during the electrical storm, there's like a zap of lightning, which hits like the antenna or something in the house, and it unlocks a few extra minutes of the video. And she sees how he died and what was actually going on. And it's this whole other story you'd never expect. So that was a fun one. I've got one coming up called The Baby in the Basket, a psychological thriller about nuns and a haunted baby that might be the son of the devil. Standard stuff. And then Dying Breed, which is a Viking film about the end of Slavic paganism. So
Oh,
lots
I'm
of
into
different
this,
things
into
coming
this.
up. Oh my God, I can talk about Dying Breed all day. It's such a good concept. It's like one of the best scripts that I've read. I'm working on it as a producer and one of the lead actors alongside my boyfriend, Nikolai Leon, who plays Christopher Robin in Blood and Honey. So we're working together on that, which is really nice. But it's what I like about it is that it's actually the true history of Ukraine. It's a group of Rus Vikings that are trying to go to Sweden to find like a safe haven. They end up shipwrecked in England, and they come across a group of Saxons, which includes my character. And it's just a really nice story. Like it's the three things I'd say. It's like a battle for love, a battle for belief, and like a battle for freedom. And those are the three like intertwining themes throughout. But I just love that it's so different to Blood and Honey. Like it's polar opposites, and I'm just so excited to get started.
I'm really pleased. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Christopher Robin was your boyfriend.
He's
Um,
literally sat in front of me playing on his PlayStation right now.
so can you
Says
hear
hello.
can you hear what I'm about to say?
Nikolai, can you hear me? Yeah, he can hear you.
So yeah, I'm gonna ask this.
Wait, Nikolai, come here.
No. I can't ask if he's there. I can't
Oh,
ask
okay.
it. Okay,
Okay.
okay. So you say so he plays Christopher Robin, right?
Yes.
Is he that posh, or is he just putting his poshness on?
Nikolai, come here for a second. Come talk to the camera. He puts on an RP accent. So Nikolai is Ukrainian British. And come in here. Sneak around. Hold on. I'm gonna get him.
Two for the
I wanted to get him away from his PlayStation.
two for the
Right.
price of one.
Wait, come in, come
Hello,
in.
hello.
Oh,
But
hello,
you can
nice to meet you.
see he has like a normal London accent.
I don't have a posh accent. No, I tried to do a RP accent for Christopher Robin, but I actually thought that it slipped away during the filming process because I actually completely forgot I was doing it.
I thought it got stronger.
I honestly did. I thought that towards the end of the film, I kind of lost it, but
I think it got more posh throughout the film because at the beginning I didn't really notice it, and then at the end I was like, I've never heard you talk like this. What is that accent?
Listen, when the people in the garage turn up at the end and they can't quite work out whether their accent is Cockney or like from
American.
Kentucky or something. I didn't see you have that problem at all. I thought yours was consistent. What are you playing on the PlayStation?
I'm just playing a survival game called Rust. I'm loving my survival games at the moment.
He's played it like 16 hours today. It's a problem.
It is a big problem.
Do you have any interest in the Resident Evil remake that's out this week?
Yes, the Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I need to finish the third one though because I've just completed the second one, so I need to finish the third one, and then once that's done, I'm getting the fourth. I love the VR Resident Evil. That's insane.
I feel like you should just piss off, Amber, if I'm being honest.
I was going to say, should I leave you to it? Jeez,
we
sorry.
have some games to talk about.
I should have never brought you in. This was a mistake.
Very nice to meet you, man.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you.
Enjoy your game. Enjoy your game.
We may go back to PlayStation.
Yeah, I had a whole bit planned. If that was his accent, I was going to have this whole thing about you being from Yorkshire and you kind of like dating outside of your class. But it don't work now, so.
I mean, you could still say it, and I can go along with it.
No, because the thing is, as well, is York. York. Listen, York can be very nice in places.
It's parts of it are actually quite posh. Like parts of it most certainly are not, but parts of it are actually quite nice.
How many times have you been to the Jorvik Viking Centre?
Okay, so I'm really embarrassed to say that I've never been.
What?
I know, it's so bad. I want to go really badly, especially because we're working on Dying Breed. Like, I really want to take Nikolai there so we can get some inspiration. But it's one of them things where I swear every school in York goes to Jorvik, apart from the schools that I went to. There was never a school trip. And then by the time I finished school, I was like, I should really go. And then I moved to London. And then now I've just I forget about it. I feel like it's so important and I need to go.
I genuinely believe if I lived in York, I would go every day.
You'd have a season pass.
Absolutely. I actually did a couple of years ago. I wrote quite a lot about Vikings. The
TV show.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, loads of fun. I think I did some stuff on the Northmen as well, and so therefore I did quite a lot with Jorvik Viking Centre, and I kept because they were quite canny and sort of attaching themselves to some of this stuff, and I kept, every time I was speaking to someone from Jorvik, I kept being like, they're going to invite me, they're going to give me a free ticket, and that never happened. So so I'm still waiting, but my wife's never been, so I think.
Okay, well, when Dying Breed comes out, we'll try and get some free tickets to you for Jorvik. This will be my goal for the film.
Amazing, for Valhalla. Listen, it's been so nice talking to you and your fella. I think the movie is loads of fun. Don't listen to those narcs at the Guardian, and good luck with everything.
Thank you so much. It was so nice talking to you, and thank you for having me on the podcast.
Take care. See you later. Bye.
Good evening.
Bye.